欢迎收看《家国纵横》，我是康凯。本国政府去年7月推出新冠病毒预警的手机应用程式 COVID Alert， 希望民众积极参加，利用手机追踪到身边有没有人曾经检测呈阳性，以协助遏制新冠疫情的扩散。安省是全国第一个采用的省份，不过疫情一直有增无减。而全国使用 COVID Alert 的民众也非常的少，远远未能达到预期的效果。这究竟是什么原因呢？本国新冠疫情至今仍不断蔓延，出现变异病毒，患者趋年轻化，人心难安。政府网页详尽介绍有关新冠病毒的资料，还有单章。有多少民众细心阅读过呢？当中一项防止病毒蔓延的举措，就是利用手机互通信息。这个手机应用程式叫做 COVID Alert。中文意思是新冠预警，出现在手机上的标记是一个红色的八角形，内有一片白色枫叶，周边有细小的灰色三角形包围着。
Digital contact tracing or exposure notification tools work through two main sort of functionalities. One is a GPS-based, location-based sort of tracing that uses your location and how you sort of move about in the world to actually track how you interact with others that might have the virus. Bluetooth tracing or Bluetooth proximity tracing is what we're using in Canada. And it essentially uses the Bluetooth functionality on your mobile phone to interact with other phones that also have the Bluetooth on through the COVID Alert app. And essentially the way it works is that the app generates a new code, I think every 5 minutes. And these codes are shared with other apps, with other phones that have the app that are within a certain proximity, which is typically 2 meters for 15 minutes or more.
该应用程式使用蓝牙，在你的手机与周围附近其他手机之间互相交换随机的信息。每天，这个应用程式会检查使用者的随机信息，这都是通过一种一次性的输入密码，向应用程式提交该使用者已被检测新冠病毒呈阳性的信息。那就是当某使用者被检测呈阳性后，他便需要在应用程式内输入一次过的号码，以知会身边附近的人。同时，如果你附近有其他使用者过去14天内曾被检测呈阳性，并且输入了一次过的号码，那么这个应用程式就会向你发出通知的预警。不过，根据统计，这个应用程式自从去年7月推出以来，曾下载使用的民众不多，而真正使用来发出警戒信息的更少之又少。原因是什么呢？
And then looking more into, why more specifically are people not downloading? We found that there's of the population that isn't downloading or using these apps, it sort of falls into 3 different segments. The first segment are those that simply find the app inaccessible. And this can range from anything between digital limitations, like you may not have a mobile phone, you may not have a most recent operating system, you may not have space on your phone, to digital literacy issues. So you may not know how to upgrade your operating system properly to be able to use this app, or you may not be able to know how to add the code that you receive from health providers if you are diagnosed as positive for COVID-19. The elderly population is an interesting one, and that they're often a population that is excluded from the use of these apps. Either they cannot access them, like I was saying, or they don't know how to use them. Yet they're one of the populations that are most vulnerable to the virus.
Phillips 教授所属的实验室附属于约克大学的灾难与紧急管理课程，以及达达勒环球卫生研究学院。他们经过研究，发现民众对 COVID Alert 手机应用程式有3个层面的反应。除了上述的有局限性，还有害怕使用和不放心使用。之所以有局限性，除了上述因素，还有目前的程式只有英法2种官方语言，对本国多元文化的使用者确实制造了使用的障碍，包容性不够，难以提高使用率。
22% of the population in Canada are born where English or French are not their first language. And in terms of the 3 most highly spoken languages in Canada beyond English and French, it's Mandarin, Cantonese, and Punjabi. Yes, Canada's app is only available in French and English. We studied 5 countries around the world, including Iceland, Ireland, Scotland, Cyprus, and South Africa. Languages, obviously that depends on the different country. Iceland has their app released in 8 different languages. Conversely, which is interesting, South Africa, which has 11 official languages, only released their app in 1 language. Ireland, they released their instructional videos in sign language.
本国政府网站有专门介绍并解释这个应用程式的原理和运作，并不断更新资料。这是政府的宣传短片。内容指出，手机让我们与别人保持联系，可以用来玩游戏，可以用来工作，也可以用来防止新冠病毒的蔓延。短片同时指出，民众可能感染了病毒而不自知，在出现病症之前四处走动，不经意传播病毒。这个应用程式便可帮到你和身边的人及早提高警戒。只有随机信息传送到中央伺服器，不包含其他的资料。该应用程式也不能连接到使用者的姓名、地址或手机内的联络名单、身处位置或健康情况。假如某人是后来被检测成阳性，并使用一次过信号输入到程式内，而你曾经与该人士有过接触的话，你便会收到预警的通知。届时，手机上便出现一个紫色的八角形，有一只手显示停止的信号，并有句子写明你过去14天曾暴露在病毒中，同时指示你下一步该如何做。当使用者知道自己曾接触感染者，便应该与本身的地区公共卫生部门联络，之后遵照官方的指引。
Second segment are those that are too afraid to use the app. This fear has sort of led to this problem where the perceptions of privacy can actually override any efforts to preserve privacy. So in Canada, they've done privacy by design measures in developing the app, but the perceptions are kind of working against them. They need to feel that if they are diagnosed as positive, that their test results aren't going to be released publicly. For some, the fear of stigmatization around getting the virus is higher than the risk of getting the virus themselves. And then the third segment of the population are those that are kind of in disbelief of the effectiveness of the app. And the problem here is that if you don't believe it's effective, you're not going to download it. And we get into this vicious cycle that if you don't download it, then you end up making the app not effective.
有意见认为，该应用程式未能发挥最大的效用。例如，安省是全国首个省份推行，但疫情一直有增无减。看来，只靠使用者自愿及时输入个人检测结果，似乎是理想大于实际。在遏制疫情扩散方面，甚至被视为彻底失败。
I think a lot of Canadians do actually know about the app. Whether they've downloaded it or not is another question. But I guess to sort of label it as a failure, I think is a tough one because there are no clear metrics right now as to what's a success or what's a failure around these types of apps. So it's up for debate.
其实，某些群体不懂使用手机程式或顾虑隐私的问题，每个国家都会面对。新加坡政府去年已推出了名为“合力追踪 ”（Trace Together） 的新冠预警追踪器，协助当局更有效率追溯到新冠病毒检测呈阳性的接触者。这个追踪器功能与手机版一样，可以通过蓝牙随时感应到使用者附近的其他使用者，而且方便携带，放在手里或随身包袋内，或是用绳子挂在颈上。主要方便没有或不懂使用手机的长者和群体，以及担心手机版有可能触及隐私的民众。当使用确诊感染，便要将追踪器交回政府。卫生当局就可以翻查里面的资料，追溯到使用者曾去过的地方以及密切接触者。Phillips 教授的实验室还发表了23项建议，以针对民众3个层面的障碍，如何更好发挥、执行及管理该应用程式，促进预期的效果。
Yeah, so to go sort of to avoid running through like the whole list of all 23, can kind of we sort of break them down along those 3 segments of the population. So for the population that feels the app is inaccessible, this starts at building the app so that they're specifically addressing the needs of those that cannot access these apps. So this can be, like I was saying earlier, language. So Canada, they've made it for the two official languages. Whereas in the UK, they also have, so like I said, Canada has 2% of the population that doesn't speak French or English. The UK also has 2% of the population that doesn't speak French or English. However, they've designed their app using 12 different languages.
针对第2和第3个层面，也就是害怕以及不放心使用的民众，政府应该有清晰透明的资讯，指出如何运作，隐私如何获得保障，从而打击错误的传闻。
In terms of the sort of the group that is afraid to use the app, the key thing here is really to address these fears, and that starts at essentially acknowledging what risks do exist within the app that we've developed in Canada, and situating these risks in the broader risks of other digital contact tracing apps around the world. This includes being more transparent about privacy. So in Iceland, for example, their privacy policy around the app was made incredibly transparent and incredibly open and very easy to understand early on in the pandemic.
总而言之，如果能明白使用者的需求，找出办法减少负面影响，扩大使用的好处，才可改善到使用者的层面和人数。研究团队认为，有8种因素足以影响全国的民众使用这款手机程式，政府必须正视。1、对收集和管理数据的看法；2、社区民众参与的意识；3、管控通讯与错误信息；4、方便使用与包容性；5、对公营私营机构的信任；6、政策和治理；7、起到应对作用的基础设备；8、数码化的发展能力。政府推出这个应用程式，如果能同时顾及民众的需求、意愿以及恐惧这3个方面，或者今后再针对问题加以改善，相信能达到预设的收效，帮助到遏制疫情的传播。当然，使用这个应用程式只是其中一种方法，其他日常该做的防疫措施还是不能忽视。戴口罩、勤洗手，保持2米的社交距离，保障自己，保障身边的人，保障社区的健康安全。以上就是本期内容。各位观众，如果想重温的话，可以登录城市电视的网站，点击节目重温当中家国纵横的链接就可以了。我是康凯，感谢您的收看，下期节目再会。